One of the compliments I find to be the most enjoyable about my street photography is when someone says that a photograph I've taken looks like a scene from a movie or that it has a cinematic feel. There are a reason why movies are so popular and why they look so good. They cost millions and a huge amount of work goes into producing them. That can be why it's so fulfilling to hear your work look cinematic, because we have essentially turned a normal everyday scene into something special. So how do we make our street photography look like they could be stills from a film? Well, in this video, I'm going to give you 10 tips to shoot cinematic street photography. To start with, it helps to visualize the street as the scene of a movie set. This gets your mind into the right place for looking for cinematic moments. Just pretend the street is a movie and get in that mindset, and you'll start to see things from a more cinematic point of view. Explore your surroundings and look for interesting backdrops and scenes that will make for the basis of a great cinematic street photograph. And then wait for people to fill that stage, ready for you to snap the shutter at the right moment. Think about filling the frame, including strong foreground, midground and background. If you can get all three in a photo, you're likely to capture a cinematic moment. Great movies have great characters, and that's what you need to find to add to your scene to make a great movie-like image. Don't just settle for any old person to walk through an interesting scene that you found. Be patient and wait for a colourful character to walk past, the hero of the image, if you like. Or go on the hunt and search for eye-catching characters that might be wearing snazzy clothing, look a bit mysterious, or have something about them that you can then turn them into the leading role for the story. Story is so important in street photography in general, but especially to make a cinematic image. Movies, after all, are just stories told and shown really well. Look for scenes and characters that come together to tell a story or portray a message that the viewer can then read into or project their own story onto to make for a compelling photo. Capturing an emotion is also a great way to convey story. Strong emotions are the foundations of a great story, so try to find moments of emotion that you can capture in your images. Also, it can be great to imagine your scene as part of a wider story or narrative. Think about what part of the movie you're at when looking for a composition. And when you have this thought in the forefront of your mind, you'll find you start capturing more story-driven, cinematic photos. Without light, you cannot make a photograph. And to make a photograph have a cinematic feel, light is incredibly important. Movies use lighting to show and conceal important parts of a scene and create mystery and mood. Try to incorporate dramatic lighting, as this has an emotional feel and also creates contrast, which is another thing to use to make your street photos look like a movie. Movies are designed to be seen on the best screens, and a way to add this premium feel to your photos is to use strong contrast to create punchy, movie-like images. Movies these days usually use light and shadow, as well as areas of light and dark to give a strong contrast, which can make your subject stand out and give that cinematic vibe. Colour has strong emotional connotations, so it can be a really useful tool to use when creating cinematic images. Think about how different colours work together in a scene, or how they are used to create a sense of atmosphere or story or emotion. You may also want to experiment with colour grading in post-production, as lots of movies have a very strong style based on how the colours are rendered in the edit. And you can replicate this feel when you play with the colour and temperature of your images in order to adjust the mood you'd like your images to convey. Black and white has a nostalgic feel, and a lot of the best movies of the past were shot in black and white, which is still used as a narrative device in modern day cinema. Try editing in high contrast black and white on images that have a strong composition and bright light sources for movie-like photos. Conveying mood and mystery is a great tool to make captivating images, and a lot of movies will have scenes where elements are obscured or left out intentionally to create a curiosity gap that the viewer wants to fill, making the image more engaging. A bit of mystery can go a long way, and I made a video about this topic if you want to check it out. Shooting at night forces you to find strong light sources, which adds contrast to your images, often making them more cinematic. You also have more opportunities to use light and texture to add mood and mystery when it's dark as well. Think about creative framing and using the artificial light to your advantage when out on a night photo walk. Think of all the movies you enjoy and how powerful the night scenes can be, where all emotions are usually heightened. There's always that childhood fear of the dark lurking in the back of the mind. Ultimately, the best way to get a feeling for how to create cinematic street photos is to study movies. Watch your favourite films with a critical eye and imagine how you would recreate your favourite scenes on the street. Look at how the light is falling on the characters in certain scenes, observe how different people are positioned to balance a frame. What other effects can you find that directors use to convey captivating scenes, and then try to replicate this on the street? The challenge of turning everyday scenes into stills from a movie is one of the most fun things about the practice of street photography, in my opinion. But to make great street photos, it helps to really dive into what street photography actually is. So for an answer to that question, as well as some different types of street photography to try, check out this video here. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.